Yeah,
Are we a first?
Yes, you are a first. So.
Is this video? Do we video?
No, we don't video. What do you?
Take my hat off.
I was just saying, you can do whatever you want.
Have to put your mouth right up against it.
You can do whatever you'd
Put
like.
headphones on?
What?
Do I have to put headphones on?
No. Well, you can. Just make sure that your levels are coming in good, because I need.
Where?
Just go ahead, throw those
I don't know
on.
what levels are, honestly.
Well.
So
yeah.
you can hear yourself or not,
Yeah, throw those on real quick.
and just
All
talk
right.
into.
All right. There we go.
Okay. Good.
Good?
No,
Can you
yeah.
hear yourself?
Make sure that you're.
I just need to be closer.
Yeah, and that mic, make sure that you're up on it because
Up
it's
on it.
How is this, John?
It's
Is
a
that
church
Did you
mic.
wash the foam from the last time you had
I
someone that
did.
you told them to put their mouth up against the?
Yeah, if I keep telling people that I do, they're gonna believe it at some point. So,
Eventually, someone
yeah.
will get it.
No, I was gonna say, Heather, you've listened to it before, and you know I come across really loud.
Yes, you do.
And so my whole thing is getting either guests that are willing to be loud or just making sure I have independent leveling.
Now for the soft, buttery tones.
Yeah.
and the def tones.
He listens
So.
to too much NPR.
Yeah. I do love NPR. It's a good show. So anyway, well, we're recording already, so yeah. It's just not the same show without the early banter.
Yeah.
Because it's usually like that's when people
Then
are talking about
everybody
weird
clams
stuff.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, hello. I'm with Al and Heather Hamilton. I told everybody that I'd have an episode with you guys, and we finally got the chance.
Hello, hello.
And you're all the way down from the Appalachians, wherever. You're
Right
is
outside of State College.
Is that the Appalachian Mountains?
No, Nittany Mountains.
Nittany
Isn't it?
Mountain.
But isn't that part of the Appalachian
No,
Range?
isn't the Appalachian Mountains further south in Pennsylvania?
I don't know. Well, the
Isn't that
Appalachian
like-
Trail, the Appalachian Trail runs from Maine to Georgia, so I think they are part of the same mountain.
I-95 does too. But
Well, yeah,
but
that's
I-
true.
I
They're not
always
the.
thought it was like around the Turnpike, the Pennsylvania Turnpike.
I'm not really sure.
I don't know.
Well, isn't that the Blue Range or the Blue Mountain Range? That's
me.
Blue Ridge Summits there. I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, I was gonna say at least you guys are antique auctioneers and antiquers and a state corrections officer.
no,
No, you're a Boilermaker.
I work in HVAC. I do.
Well, yeah, I thought you were working in a steam room.
No, I used to. Now
Oh,
I do
okay.
air
That was a
conditioning.
couple years
Better
ago.
shift.
Oh, that's good. Well, I was a better shift and a much better thing because air conditioning is way better than working in a steam or a
Absolutely.
laundry of a steam room, or wait, steam room of a laundry, an industrial laundry, right? That's what it was.
It's that you're a wordsmith that just.
Yeah.
really-
No, I get around to it. Well, I was gonna say it's 12 o'clock and my brain's barely functioning because you guys have been.
Are you hangry?
Oh no, I no, because
Yeah,
I
he
ate
ate.
breakfast.
You ate,
I'm the only
right.
person that ate breakfast this
Right.
morning.
Thank you for making me breakfast.
You're well. I asked and nobody said yes.
I was
you were,
asleep when you
Well,
asked.
You,
You
you
should have
last
been
man down. That's what you get. So, but yeah, so you work for the state penal system, and Heather, you're not still at the hotel. You're
I am not at the
no, you're
hotel
just
anymore.
at the Great Mishmash.
Right,
And
I'm the business manager at the Great Mishmash and
Ooh.
also at Eagle Hall.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She has. I have to tell everybody. She has the worst job in the world.
Well,
Well, because not only does she have to manage the Great Mishmash in Bellefonte, she manages Eagle Hall, and of course, then with Brian and me, she has to manage those schedules. Then she has to manage everybody that works for us with the auction company's schedule.
Yeah.
So once all of those mesh together and Jupiter and Venus all come into line, I don't know how she does it. I don't know how
I don't
anything
either.
gets done.
Because on top of that, you have to manage a family.
Right,
Like
yeah.
that's
Kids
the thing.
in school and all
That's
that.
why I'm so in awe of both of you because, yeah, I'm totally taking my shirt off. No, I'm starting to sweat, so my glasses are starting to fog. No, that's the reason I'm so in awe of you guys is that even with families starting whenever they've started in life, you're both still driven. You both have, once you finally get moving, Al, you have more energy than I do. And, it's like to watch the both of you work and exist, it's kind of mind-bending that you, on top of everything, multiple jobs, an auction company, and kids and a family.
He really is pretty phenomenal when
Yeah.
it comes to, like, and he doesn't like doing physical labor, but when he does get to it, like there are times where I'm just like, can we stop now, please?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we've been doing this for hours, and so it blows my mind on a regular basis.
Well, thanks, honey.
You're like a hurricane of human effort.
I
that's a very accurate description.
I love to get shit done.
Yeah.
And I throughout my life, I've had a lot of half finished stuff. And it's like, let's just get it done and we'll relax later. But I found with me, there's a lot of don't relax later.
Well, I don't know about that necessarily, but you do have it's almost a 50-50 of you have a lot of things that aren't finished,
right?
And then you have a lot of things that are like it needs to be done right now. And
I get like that a lot.
Yeah,
like I sit there in bed going, if I just had 3 more ceiling tiles, or
yeah, but that's the great holdup is like you start a thing, and then if you have to drop everything to go to a store and get the parts that you need, that's it.
It's
over.
done.
You may as well call it as over.
Yeah,
you didn't plan ahead enough, and now you're just shit out of luck.
It never gets finished, right?
So
that's happen a lot.
It is so much fun. I don't know where we want to go with this, but
anywhere.
It's so much fun with the auction company, and I never saw this aspect of what we do, and like just the appreciative nature of the people that we're helping. I never saw that end of it. I always saw, give me your stuff, I'll go sell it, and here's your check. But what I'm seeing now, when you see just grown people, adults, just you're taking the weight off of them of a deceased loved one's stuff.
Yeah,
that they still have a little bit of attachment to, but they don't know what to do with it, and or downsizing or anything like that. And I'll tell you what, Heather is absolutely phenomenal. If there's anyone in this world that is better than Heather, I don't know them, because she can go in and totally, I don't want to say diffuse the situation, but put people at ease that have suffered a traumatic event as a parent or both parents, or a daughter, and just, hey, we will take care of you. We've got you, and I'll tell you what, I don't know how you do it.
Well, I think a lot of it just stems from I'm a very nurturing person. Just that's my personality and my nature, but also from years of nursing experience, and I dealt with that a lot in geriatric care. So, I mean, it works out really well for my personality to be able to go in and actually listen and dig deep and hear what they're saying. So then I know what they need most from us, and that's where I think I probably come in best with the business, because I can handle that part very well, while you guys are just about moving furniture and boxing belongings up, and I can talk to them on a different level, I think.
Yeah, I'm absolutely okay. This is good. This is no good. Throw it out. Throw it out. Yeah. Throw it out. Throw it out. Good pile over here. Throw it out. Throw it out. And Heather's more like, Al, we don't say it's trash. We say it's not really worth selling.
Right.
And it's really, really hard for me, because I mean, John, you've known me for a while. I am about as subtle as a tornado.
Oh yeah.
And when we're cleaning out a house, that's exactly the way it is too. It's I don't have time to sit here and I hate to be like, I don't care about your grandpa's story, but right now I gotta you're paying me to get this out of here. And that's what
right.
It's almost like pulling the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
The quicker I pull that Band-Aid off, the quicker the pain stops.
Right.
It's for me.
But without diminishing the whole idea, it's like you are you're more into the meat of the meal, and Heather's more into the presentation of it.
Oh, she's absolutely the garnish. That's
like when you don't pay attention to a well-made hamburger or a cheeseburger, you see when you look and see how beautiful it is. Like, you're not going to look at that. You're going to look at, I'm hungry and let's finish this out. So that's good though. I always wondered about that, because I worked for an antiques auction as a kid. I knew another fellow in high school who his dad owned an antiques company, and I was just a runner. So I never knew. It took me a long time to finally understand the entire process of how that works, like from start to finish, whether it's maybe a collector selling off, or the mass realization is auctions mostly happen because people die.
Right.
And how somebody could approach you, how to manage the idea that somebody approaching you is not just a customer. That's still a person who's dealing with a loss and trying to get, it's not good to be cold, but at the same time, you still have work to get done.
Right. I mean, you have to. It really is a fine balance of being able to listen to what has happened. Excuse me, and what is causing them to need to have an auction. And then you have to be able. I don't necessarily. You don't have to be able to relate to it, but it is. You have to be compassionate to that circumstance. And I mean, a lot of times it is a family member passing away, or it's a divorce, which is still a very touchy subject. And and then, I mean, you have to have the business aspect of it, and you have to keep in mind, like, the legalities of whose property is this, and is it okay, and who's in charge, and who am I talking to? So it definitely is a fine balance of trying to figure all of that out while you're listening and know how to respond to that appropriately. So, because, I mean, obviously we're still trying to get their business, but at the same time, I also try to put them at ease that, like, a lot for me is the guys will take care of it. Don't worry about it. I'll have the guys, and this is what's going to happen when they come in, and what they're going to do. And then I have to go back and sort of debrief the guys and let them know the situation. And there's Al, who I have to give direction to and tell him, okay, don't say this while you're at this house. And then there's Brian, who has a different level. He's still very business oriented, but I think he's got a little more people-friendly personality than Al does. But at the same time, he can get very sidetracked. So I have to kind of keep that, I have to give them both separate directions, I guess, is where I'm going with it. And just to try to make it the best customer service relationship, I think, for that particular auction. And every single auction is a different scenario. So I
think what Heather's trying to say is, if you're going to go into business for yourself, don't do it with two middle-aged men who act like 5-year-olds with ADD.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I have noticed that in the couple of days that you've been here.
I highly
transient
recommend
living.
that,
Yeah. No. Well, and that's the other thought is that Eagle Hall just opened on Route 50. No.
150.
On right on Route 150 there in Milesburg.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. We're good. Yeah. So right on Route 150 in Milesburg, right next to the Dollar General. So you guys just opened there, and that's the other thing. Approaching from a novelist storyteller standpoint is like, okay, so you figured out that end of how to deal with a customer, and years of experience played into that, customer service, all that, and then on top of that, Eagle Hall is slow. From day one, slowly becomes its own new little universe.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to cater not only to your customers and people that are consigning with you, but then you have to consign to the fact that, the people that are coming in are going to probably come back, and you have to keep them coming back, and that little environment is constantly growing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's got to be fun and distracting and kind of make you crazy at some point.
I absolutely. I mean, like, the thing about it is we found that our auctions are typically on Wednesday nights, and we found that I am absolutely, and I there is no bullshit involved here. I am utterly amazed that people will come and spend their Wednesday night with us for 2 or 3 hours at our little auction hall, and it's they come in and they pet Tucker the auction dog, and and they know it's like a small family type thing. I mean, it really is. It's funny because Heather will say, "Oh, do you know Joe?" And I'm like, "No." Joe Jones. I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Number 315. Oh yeah, I know him."
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I guess, because Al has a different aspect of the auctions than I do, because he's the auctioneer and he sits in the front of all of the people sitting down, and he sees them by their numbers, and I see them as they come in the door, and I get take all of their information, so I know them by names, and so we're often doing that or giving people nicknames. We have the chef, because he came in a couple of times in a chef jacket, and a new one now is Blondie.
Blondie.
Who, but that's how I can tell him who I'm talking about, and I know that he will recognize them by that description, and then we can kind of. But they really have all become very much a family to us, which we were just talking the other day about how we would like to maybe for our 1-year anniversary to do some sort of like gathering or like
no
Thanksgiving
business
type meal.
Yeah,
just to spend time with them where we're not trying to sell something. Because that's very much my side.
Absolutely.
Of things, is that I really enjoy spending that time with people.
Yeah, it's just not a glossy phrase on a
Right.
flyer customer appreciation. It actually is.
Right.
I agree with you. That is a great idea. Just throw a cookout for all your people.
Oh my gosh, it would be so much fun. And I think there's some of our customers that we just enjoy so much, and you don't get a chance to really spend much time with them. I mean, we develop relationships with all of them, but we don't really, we have 2 hours.
2 hours at a time.
Yeah, from when the doors open until the auction starts, and you don't really get to talk to them a whole lot during that time after the auction starts. So it's...
Well, in our business too, and we've found this out. We've only been open since November, and we started out. We said we're going to do 1 auction a month. Well, that lasted 1 month.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do 2 auctions a month. Well, that lasted 1 month. And then we're going to go, okay, we're going to do 4 auctions a month. And there's some that we've done 5, and it's just phenomenal, the growth that we're experiencing. But the growth that we're experiencing is we did one house and they told someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that house, and they told someone else, and we did that house. So from that one good auction we did, we got 2 more auctions from it, and I'm sure it's going to keep growing from there. And, that's the thing is our customer service, I think is really, really, and I'm biased. I get it, but
Yeah.
I think it's top notch. I mean, from start to finish, it's from the time we first meet the people to the time we're cutting them a check, we try and make it right. You know what I mean? And that's, and for real, I mean, an auction's a crapshoot. This item that you may think is $100 is going to bring 20, and this item that you think you should throw out brings 200.
Yeah.
So in the end, when it all comes out in a wash, I think it all kind of evens out. But it just amazes me when we do sell something that people are, the family are like, I never would have guessed that's what that would have brought. I mean, and some of the highlights that we've done. I mean, we just did a house that, as an afterthought, they said, hey, we have 3 beer signs.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, cool. Beer signs always sell. I said, great. That's awesome. And we live in a college area, so, and they are now in the National Brewery Museum. And they bought these 3 beer signs and over the phone.
Wow.
And we had 2 phone bids, trying to compete with each other, and it was just phenomenal, and they're,
a lot of fun.
And like I said, I was on one phone, my wife was on the other phone. We had another auctioneer auctioning him off, and there was a lot of satisfaction actually bidding against my wife.
Yeah, that's one of those things that, there's sometimes that situation comes up where you realize that, like, oh, I need this one thing off of eBay and it's an auction, and you're like, okay, well, this is what I want for my whatever birthday, anniversary, whatever. And you're like, okay, I'll do it because I have my account. And then you realize that whoever you told you want it for your birthday is the one who's bidding against you, and suddenly you're paying 4 times for something.
Right.
That was always, and it reminds me of Addams Family when they were the one movie they had the auction and they were bidding against each other while sitting right next to each other, which was
We've had
seen
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Normally what I'll do is when I say, oh, you 2 are together, we did a charity auction for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. And we do that. We do the NWTF, Rocky Mountain Elk. We did pheasants or the quail.
Yeah, it was
the Scott Sipple Memorial Shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And we did, it was the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and there was a husband and wife, and it was a gun that I was selling them like $500, $500, $550, $550. And her husband bids. They're sitting right beside each other. Her husband bids, and I said, I have your wife on the bid, and he goes, yeah, I know. Okay then.
Well, there you go. That works.
And they duked it out.
Yeah. Well, how did that work with us being in Pennsylvania? How did it work out that you were running an auction for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation? Do they do something because not many people know that once you get maybe 20 miles north of Route 80 in Pennsylvania, that's elk country.
Oh, absolutely.
Hands down. You can go up there 3-4 times a year and it's just a symphony of elk bugling anywhere that you walk.
Right.
And I didn't realize that elk were so spread, honestly, across like in the Rocky Mountains or here.
Well, the Pennsylvania elk is actually extinct. What they brought in was the Rocky Mountain elk.
I didn't know.
Okay, yeah. The Pennsylvania elk was actually a smaller elk. This is what I was told. They were a smaller elk. And what happened is they brought in the Colorado elk, and with the help of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and the Pennsylvania Game Commission and whatnot, they brought them in, and they've grown the herd ever since. I used to work out in the middle of the Queehana Wilds area.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you what, you haven't seen anything until you've seen like a herd of elk going across the road, and they're huge.
Well, I was gonna say there's something that if there's an elk standing in the road and you have no way to stop, if you hit him, he will destroy your vehicle.
Yeah.
Like this is no like he's gonna bounce off my hood. It's he's gonna stop me dead.
Yes, you lose.
Yeah.
It's not just cracking your headlight. Your car is destroyed
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're massive.
And that always worries me because I go up north so often and I'm dealing with that, and people say, "Oh, watch out for deer," and I'm like, I'm dealing with. I have to go to Bradford. I'm dealing with 219 on a winter night.
Yeah.
I'm worried about something just bigger than my truck walking out in front of me.
It's not gonna bend the bumper on it.
No. That's gonna put my engine back into the passenger compartment.
But yeah, we have partnered with the NWTF and the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Our thing is and when we got into this, Heather had talked to me about we are going to give back. Mm-hmm. And this is our opportunity to be able to help great organizations. With charity auctions, that we take nothing for. You know what I mean? But it's a way to get our name out there, and I like to consider myself a little bit more exciting than some. Yeah. When it comes to that, and I get really, really excited when I sell something phenomenal. I still talk about it. Heather wouldn't let me bring it home, but I got the opportunity to auction off a 9.5 foot tall stuffed ostrich. Now, I don't understand why we have 10-foot ceilings. I don't understand why she wouldn't let me bring it home, but I got to auction off a stuffed 9.5 foot tall ostrich, and I think she's just narrow-minded as far as that goes.
I think that'd be way more fun than the dog that I inherited.
Yes.
I think an ostrich is definitely out there, and I think that's more of a fun key piece than having a stuffed pit bull from somebody's property that I inherited.
I really had visions of the kids or the cat trying to ride said 9-foot ostrich.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily believe that was such a great idea. And you were far too excited.
Well, I did take a picture.
He did.
A selfie with a 9.5 foot tall stuffed ostrich, and I texted, "Guess what we got?" And the response I got back was, "Where will you be sleeping with it?" And so I realized that was probably a good thing that I did not.
Yeah, that may have been. And I was going to say, and this was, you guys just opened last November. So last time you were down in York for the Cigar Box Guitar Festival, we were here. So you guys stayed then. And I remember this was in talks that you were going to open an auction house because, Al, you were already doing your apprenticeship. Yeah, that's the word I can't always remember. But you were already doing your auctioneer apprenticeship. So, to see it on Sundays when you post your video of the auction preview
on Facebook,
it just to see how much progress has been made in just shy of 10 months. Yeah, it's awesome.
It really did escalate very quickly. I mean, it went from an idea and something that we would like to do eventually to the opportunity with the right building opening up at the right time. And we absolutely, ourselves and Brian, who's our business partner, we're sort of hem-hawing around about it. And it just came down to a day that I said, you know what, let's go look at it one more time. And we went and looked at the building, and the owner was telling us that there was someone else that was interested in it, and it was a situation where you just had to make an executive decision, and I decided to. I just looked at him and said, "Okay, we'll take it." And I gave him the rent money right there because I didn't want to take the opportunity. And I remember I was with Al at the time, and Brian was at the Great Mishmash. So I had sent him a text and I said, by the way, we just started an auction company. And it really just went that fast. And from there, it was just a flurry of activity with getting all the licensing and everything that we need to have. And that was November 1st. And by November 22nd, we had our first auction.
Yeah.
So it just went extremely fast.
And I remember we walked out of there and got in the car, and and Heather is absolutely not the spur of the moment type of person.
I've noticed that over the years.
She can't even make an impulse purchase on a pack of gum.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat in the car, and I looked at her. I said, "Shitballs, what did you just do? What did we do?" And she goes, "I don't know, but we'll work through it." And I was, and that's why she's, the greatest partner in life, period. Because, 9 times out of 10, it's me that makes that decision that, okay, well, this is what we're doing, deal with it. Mm. And I was like, oh my God, okay, let's go. And we were honest to goodness, pedal to the metal. Our first auction block was a 1927 player piano.
Wow.
Yes, because that's what was left in the building. And we used that as our auction block, and I'll always remember that. And hopefully we grow huge, you know what I mean? But I will always remember the times when it was, 1927 player piano for an auction block, and a stool that, was one leg was shorter than the other, and and we have grown phenomenally. I mean, we have a TV and a camera for smaller items, and we have a computerized checkout and clerking system now, and it almost feels like, even though it was 10 months ago or 9 months ago, that wow, we were really in the Stone Age 9 months ago, and now it's like, wow, we're big time. We have an IT guy.
Yeah,
we have an IT guy.
Wow.
We don't really have an IT guy. He's just an incredible customer that comes to our auctions, and just I was having issues with the computerized system and getting it all set up on the same network, and he offered to help, and he's helped us with the networking. Excuse me, the networking inside the building, as well as he's been helping me with our website. And just the understanding sometimes of how things work when I can't figure out why something's not working. And most of the time he won't let me pay him for it. He's just, he's such a sweet guy. And Justin Maddox is his name, and because I'm going to make him listen to this.
Yeah.
But he's just, and I think that's probably something else that we should talk about, is that there are customers on both sides. I mean, we have
absolutely.
2 sets of customers that we have to try to keep happy with auction businesses, which makes it very difficult. But Justin is just, and Virginia also, his mom,
right?
They're phenomenal. They're so wonderful to us all the time. Virginia made us the most amazing
sticky buns. My goodness.
Oh, she brought.
Does she? I was gonna say, you guys, who's running your food service? Because that's like that's a commonality. You have an auction hall. You have somebody that runs your snack bar.
Well, being the auctioneer, I find myself sleeping with management, and I'm also sleeping with the cook.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So my wife, my goodness, and on top of all the other stuff she does, I told her, I said, honey, just cook a shitty meal. You won't ever have to cook again.
Yeah.
But she puts her heart into it, and we have people that fight over on Facebook what we're going to have the next week.
Wow.
And it's, we try and provide a meal that we're not ripping them off,
Right.
I mean, it's, you're kind of a captive audience, so, and I don't know any other auction halls. I know a lot of them that serve hamburgers and hot dogs, but we do pulled pork sandwiches and goulash.
I take a lot of requests from the customers. So when, they're, in particular, David Balcastro is one of our customers, and he absolutely adores my goulash for some reason. So he was begging me on Facebook to make goulash the one time, and he was walking around with huge bowls overflowing with goulash all night long. It was hilarious. But
And what halushki and
halushki
pierogies
and
and
sausage are
all
real big
made from
hits.
scratch,
Yeah.
all good. And we buy small. We buy from the local
Yeah,
meat
I
market.
don't-
We
yeah.
don't go to the big chain,
do
the
all
box
the-
stores.
Right.
I do all local shopping at the store, the meat market and the farmers markets and stuff like that for.
So when
meals.
everybody
So
else
it's all
is-
fresh.
When everybody else is eating good on Wednesday night, I get to see it all prepared on Tuesday night as I'm eating my ham sandwich because she's not going to cook me
Because
anything.
I'm
Well,
too
yeah.
She's
busy
cooking for
because
that.
I mean, you've got to. It's a lot of food that you have to make to feed. A
No, you
whole
gotta
auction
you
full.
gotta prioritize. And,
Right.
You know, sometimes Al just needs to take a back seat.
Yeah, well, usually Mondays I go shopping for it, and then Tuesdays I cook it in advance, and sometimes it's into Wednesdays too. But I have to leave early, leave the house early on Wednesdays to be able to get to the auction hall to get everything set up and ready. So, it's a lot of times and a lot of. I find myself, I can't cook that tonight. I don't have refrigerator space. So then it's like, hurry up on Wednesday morning and get it done.
I did get her to I had her theme one. We did a house that the lady collected chickens, chicken collectibles.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
And she's like, okay, I think we're gonna have pulled pork. I'm like, no, we're not. She goes, well, okay, what about like sloppy joes? I'm like, nope. I said, we gotta have chicken. I said, we absolutely have to have chicken. So she made phenomenal Jack Daniel's chicken wings.
Ooh.
And at the end of the night, normally at the end of the night, we feed our guys and, whatever's left. And at the end of the night, there was one chicken wing left, one little drum. And I was like, oh, well, I'll have a sandwich when I get home.
There you go. I was gonna say, you guys just. I know it's definitely because I'm down here in the south end of Pennsylvania, but you guys have it. I'm always passing through on the highway, and to have this little window into, I have this little window into your world, and then you have your windows into everybody else. Like the community that is, your area is definitely small town USA.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah,
you think about all the influences, especially with all the foods that you named, all the cultural influences that come down, all those recipes. Like that's really awesome. And I mean, even down here with our most of our biggest auctions are Friday nights because they're waiting for everybody to get paid.
Right.
They start well after 5 o'clock, so you can get to the bank and empty your wallet up there. But most places you could probably survey 30 people and 15 of them are just stopping up there for dinner because that gets to be one of the facets too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In that and that. I'm really ecstatic to get up to you guys on a Wednesday. I'm gonna have to take a whole Wednesday off just to come up, but I mean, I'm super proud of what you guys did, and just still always in awe because you manage all that time and and all that life, and you're still like, there's not one bit of you is negative.
John, I've got to interrupt you here because you're like, you guys and you manage. No. Heather manages.
Well, that's
My
true.
phone call when I get out of work. I'll even let Heather tell it because hi, honey, I love you. What comes next, Heather?
Where am I going? What am I doing?
Where am I going? What am I doing? Because you know what? She can tell me in the morning, oh, hey, hon, you don't have anything to do. And, just go home. And I get out of work and it's like, no, you need to go here and look at this house. You need to go do this. And you need to get with Brian and you need to haul this. And it's like, okay, and you know what? That's the one aspect of my life that, I know, Heather, it drives you crazy. But that's the one aspect of my life is that it's not planned. It's, it's like, okay, well, let's go do this. It's like an adventure, and every house that we go and we get to look at and we get to clean out. And you see it on American Pickers, and that's kind of staged, but
yeah,
we actually for real get to live that life, and we've done houses that we take stuff out and we don't even look in the boxes, and it's just like, yeah, that looks okay. Yep, take it. Oh yeah, it's got 40 years of dust on it. Yeah, take that box. We'll figure it out when we get there, and we kind of really pride ourselves that the stuff that we take out of the house that we say, yes, this is going to sell. Sells.
Yeah.
And we don't really have a lot of no bids and no sales. We try and lot stuff up big enough that the customer that's buying it is pleased with the amount of stuff they're getting, and B, the customer that we're selling it for is, that's great. I got rid of that stuff, and that's phenomenal. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I love that aspect of my life that, it's just not planned.
Yeah.
Well, I think it wasn't planned a lot more before we started the auction company, and now it's almost. I mean, you can plan to an extent, but you have to definitely fly by the seat of your pants, because I get calls all day long. I took
yesterday
2 calls yesterday.
Middle of a concert and a festival.
I had to walk a block away so I could hear what they were saying. But I mean, you have to, and then it makes it twice, I think, as difficult for me, because I didn't have a schedule book near me to look at and see what I was doing, and just hoping that I did it correctly. But so it's still not very scheduled, but it's scheduled all at the same time. It's a very chaotic organization that we have going on.
Well, I'll tell you, the people that we have working for us, we have some guys that don't come to the auction that work for us because they're just not into that, but they're into helping me move stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
So we got a couple of guys, 2-3 guys that they help us just move stuff, and then we have other guys. Sam and Joe.
We are very blessed.
They won't take pay. They help us run stuff at the auctions, and no disrespect, Sam or Joe, they're older guys.
They are. Yeah.
And they just help us. And I'm amazed what people will do for us. I've told Heather that 1,000 times. I said, why? I'm kind of an asshole. Why do people like me?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's me. They like me.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say between the both of you, I think I'm gonna use this word again just to annoy you. I think the serendipity that brought the two of you together through all the lives that you led beforehand, that moment that you came together, you are a very bright, shining example of what humanity is, and I think people are just so willing to get in there because you're both so. Whenever you're in, now I know you in private. 6 a.m. when the alarm goes off.
You were in bed with me.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
But 6 a.m. when the alarm goes off, once the gears start clicking, you guys are just bright, beaming joy, and there's no reason to not be. That enthusiasm that you two hold towards everything that you do just rubs off on everybody,
Al and I complement each other very well. I think we're both strong where the other is weak, and I think that makes a huge difference. And it really, as far as business-wise goes, I think it is crucial to having the successful business.
Well, honey, it's where it comes down to is you let me think that I'm in charge, and,
yeah,
and I actually know deep down that you're in charge, so it kind of works out pretty good. And,
yeah, I think.
And Brian just goes, whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes he's got opinions.
He's got opinions, and the funny part about it is and I have to touch on this. Brian and I, when this first started, we are both Type A. Brian Herman is one of the greatest people I've ever met.
He's phenomenal.
And we're both Type A. And we've had some broom throws at each other.
Oh.
Yeah.
We've yelled at each other. And I looked at him the first couple of weeks. I said, this ain't going to work. This is not going to work. I said, listen, I would rather keep you as a friend and fail as a businessman than, And I said, we got to put somebody in charge.
And there you go.
I said, what do you think about Heather? He goes, are you going to listen to her? I said, are you going to listen to her? I'm like, yeah, I guess. And I think we kind of had that little pipe dream, like, this is all going to be like peaches and cream.
Yeah.
And until the first time that Brian and I had a great idea, 2 guys, great idea.
Yeah.
And Heather looked at us and goes, I don't think that's ever going to happen. And she gave us that mom look. And I went, I'm not going to bring it up again. Are you? So, it's, it really is. It's, we're a partnership, but we put Heather in charge for a reason because she's freaking smart, and, it has worked out phenomenally well. I mean, really from our first little growing pains in November and December and to now it's
I think it's
almost like a
all-
well-oiled machine. Yeah.
it's all still a learning process. I mean, there's still things that we're still trying to figure out and fine tune as we go along. But if my aspect, I'm married to two men. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Well, that's your
exactly-
cross to bear, honey.
I mean, and we joke because at the Great Mishmash, Brian says I'm his work wife because it's very much that. And I'm always like, Brian, if you would just listen to me, we would get this taken care of. And he's like, I know it. So, I mean, I'm still kind of growing that relationship with Brian there too. I've been there for a couple of years now, but I mean, it's still a trust issue, and you really have to know that you can fully trust each person to be looking out for the best interest of everybody involved and not just yourselves. And that I don't think comes until there's time. That's something that you have to grow and different things that you have to experience to know that it's truly okay and we're all looking out for each person's best interest. But I think that becomes, because we were all friends and we knew each other first, I think that's extremely helpful in that aspect. But I mean, it's grown a lot since November when we started as far as our friendships and our business senses as well.
And I mean, like I said, our staff, you know, we have another great auctioneer, Rob Kitchen Auctioneering. I help him out on Thursdays. He helps me out on Wednesdays. It's a wonderful partnership that we have. He's about 70 miles away from us.
Mm-hmm.
So he travels to us in Milesburg, and I travel down there. It's a little town called Arvona.
Okay.
You know, and I travel down there to help him. And, you know, it really has helped me grow as an auctioneer. And, you know, it's a great partnership we have, and all the people. I mean, I'm sure we're missing people, you know,
like
but
Clady
and, you know, I mean,
and
Clady helps
Janet
out, and Janet and everybody that helps run the mishmash while we're running the auction.
Yeah.
You know, because it is Wednesday afternoon and we have to be there, and you know, we have a great girl that works in the kitchen, you know, Julia Gulia, you know, she's phenomenal, and it's truly like a family. A small family,
It
you know.
really
It's
is. I think I've said that probably, oh my goodness, a dozen times. That I mean, we have our customers that bring stuff to the auctions for our kids or our dogs or
circus
something,
tickets.
We
Yeah.
have. I mean, we bring our kids with us to auctions because I mean we can't have childcare because a lot of times we're not getting home till late, and that makes it difficult because I'm rushing at the end of an auction, so I can try to get the kids at home in a decent time.
Truly, because child labor laws don't apply when they're your own kids.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, they really have become a family. It's just, and I've said that because I moved to the area where we're at because I met Al, and that's where his job was, and it just made sense for me to move instead of him. And I felt, I think, a little out of place for a long time because I didn't have family or any friends in the area, and I've really missed that aspect of my life growing up. I'm very family oriented, and the auction company has really brought that closeness back for me, and I adore it. I truly do. It fills a sense of need in me just because of that aspect, and not even the financial side of it completely is different for me because that's just numbers. But I really enjoy what the having the customers, that close relationship with our customers does.
It's I was gonna say the gainful, the soul gainfulship, like, you know, adding to your soul every time you go into work it seems like it's more important than anything else.
Yeah,
and
that
that's
for me is absolutely. I mean, I look forward to Wednesday nights even though I'm working because I get to see everyone that I haven't seen since last week, and some of them I even talk to on the phone now because, you know, they'll call and ask me if I need help with anything. And I mean, we've had a customer that one time we have anyone work the kitchen, and she just came into the kitchen and and she's like, I got this, don't worry. And then I tried paying her and she wouldn't let me pay her. And I mean, just we are so blessed with the people that have come into our lives and have just I don't know, embrace this whole thing with us.
Well, I even think it's, you know, like drawing us closer together too. I mean, honestly, you know, I marry my best friend, bar none.
Yeah,
I marry my best friend, and but you're a close second, John.
Yeah, I agree.
But no, I got to marry my best friend, and you know, honest to goodness, if you want to eliminate fights in your life, if you're having marital strife and you want to eliminate fights, just work your ass to the bone, to where you get home, you can't fight. You just look at each other and go, "We'll take care of this tomorrow," because I'm too tired to deal with your shit right now. And you get a good night's sleep on it. You go, "What were we fighting? Never mind. Don't worry about it." And there have been some times where it's you rub each other a little bit, but go out in the garage, leave me alone.
I don't really know. I mean, we definitely don't argue as much as we used to about stuff like that. There have been times because I'm the boss and I have to make decisions that he doesn't like. And that was probably a concern of mine when we first got started, was that you were going to get angry about something and then bring it home. And I think that's only ever happened once.
I've really learned not to be salty over. Yeah. It's just when you break it down, it's just a business.
Yeah.
And it's there were a couple of times, I'm sure in the beginning that I was like, but it's, for me, it's now I think it's drawn us closer together, even with Brian, you know what I mean? It's because, it's kind of developed its own mind of its own, I guess, or a body of its own that, it's not so daunting of a task for us. It's like, oh, we've been through this before. We climbed this mountain once. So I really enjoy doing it.
Well, I was gonna say it's really evident that I've heard there's always those horror stories like never work with your spouse, and it's like, well, you guys make it seem pretty easy. But I think I was gonna say I think the overall motivation umbrella of even between the two of you and Brian is, there is progress being made towards the end goal, and the end goal is that everybody's happy and comfortable, and you don't have that, 1/3 of the pie is moldy and the other 2/3 are, delicious. You have an entirely delicious pie. You guys are people, not pie. But you understand the example, but you have that all together, and there's no that stressor isn't there that's always picking at your brain or anything like that, and you really don't have the time to sit down and think about it.
Exactly.
I mean, there are stresses with any business, but I think we all listen to each other and try to address whatever the concern is for each person individually, and I think that really makes a big difference. And we have meetings. I mean, we will sit down and be like, okay, this is what's going on right now, and we need to work this out.
And we really haven't had one of those in a while because it's.
I think it's just finally starting to fine tune itself.
Absolutely, and there are also times that we see things. We see things in these auctions that are just phenomenal things. You know what I mean? And we have so many contacts out there that you're calling people. And you're saying, hey, I got this, and look at this, and check this out, and just like I said, seeing the people that come to the auctions and knowing that we're a well-oiled machine too. I mean, there's no better compliment for me than when somebody says, "Oh man, they treated me great. They took care of everything. They took the stress off. They, talk to Heather. She's awesome." You know what I mean? And I've said that. Hey, I'm not the one you want to talk to about this. You need to talk to Heather on this one. I mean, and really, 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 and coming from me, I don't know, Heather will realize how much this is. I've really found my limitations. And I kind of consider myself a very confident person, but I've found my limitations, and that's part of being a partnership is to be able to go, Heather, I can't take care of this. And boom, she pops right in there and she puts on that hat, and phenomenal. You and Katie do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
no, I agree. Yeah, I was going to say, I agree. It does get to be that, like, that is how marriage goes. I know it's, and it's it feels like such an alien concept now with the, modernity saying, well, you don't get married. So, yeah, you do. You can. If you do it for all the right reasons, it's going to work out. No matter how hard, how bad or how good it gets, it should work out. I'll say it that way. But like, that's one thing that also always fascinated about you guys is that you're living in a rural area where interconnectivity is going to the same bars and meeting the same people and taking the same people home. But you guys branched out, reached out, and found each other, and now look where you are. You know, we're talking, that was 5 years ago at this point. And, you know, you had your beautiful wedding down at Farmer John's.
Yes. The
farm.
most, I'll tell you what, I still hear people say, you know, that was the best wedding ever.
Yeah, and we hadn't met you yet, but I'm telling you, my wedding definitely was way cooler. No, but now I was gonna say they both fell along the same theme. But you know, it's been fun to be there for all those events, and you think about, you know, the closeness that the three of us share, and that Katie shares. And we're not within 150 miles of each other. Well, probably about 130. But, you know, we're not close. We don't get to see each other that often. But when we do, we have those bright, shining moments of, you know, fun or, you know, whatever stress, or we're you know, running around doing the Cigar Box Guitar Festival or doing whatever we need to do. But we're here together. And
the great part about it, and this is what I love so much, is the great part about our relationship, you and, you know, us and you and Katie, and is we have people that come to us and go, hey, when's your friend putting out another book?
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, they are our friends. Yeah, that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? But, you know, and it's I love hearing, Heather will say this all the time. She goes, I really need some John Smith in my life right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say that comes up often down here. Is like, oh, I have a day off because I got to go to the doctor's. I may as well just hop on the bike and go up north. You know, it's like you guys aren't that far away.
I mean, we're really not, but I mean, life tends to we all let life get in the way, I think, and we don't make enough time for those kind of things. But when you have really great friends like you and Katie, and a lot of our friends down here in York that we don't get to see on a regular basis, but I mean, we still connect, and whether that's through social media or not, I mean, we still all remain very close. And even though it's a year sometimes in between visits, that we just pick up right where we left off.
5 minutes and you're caught up.
Yeah, exactly. But so yeah, I'm super stoked that you guys came by. I'm really glad that we had the time to sit down this weekend and actually talk it out. But I think lunch is done, and I really don't want it to get cold.
Oh, I'm all for it.
Yeah. So Route 150 in Milesburg, right next to the Dollar General. What's your actual physical address?
We're at 517
Dell
Street.
Okay.
And it's a Bellefonte address, but it's Milesburg.
Okay.
It's the easiest way. Easiest way is this. Eagle Hall on Facebook. Like us. We put out a video every Sunday that we have an auction on Wednesday. We put out a video. I'm going to try and maybe get a video today. It's probably going to be tomorrow.
We got to make it happen.
Yeah.
We didn't have an auction last week, and everybody's going to be upset.
Everybody's going to be upset.
I was going to say, I was curious about that. Why'd you?
It's Grange Fair in Center Hall is an all-consuming
yes.
event
Okay.
up in that area. So we decided not to compete and try to pull people away from the fair, because it really has a life of its own in Center Hall. So we just decided to take that week off, and it kind of gave us all a break. And Brian has been set up at the Grange Fair with the Great Mishmash, doing both Eagle Hall and the Great Mishmash for all 10 days of the fair, from 9 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night.
13-hour days.
He has definitely taken the brunt of this. And he really has, and I feel incredibly sorry for him, because I know that's got to be mind-numbing and exhausting all at the same time. But so he's been set up there, and it just, without all three parts of the whole, it didn't make sense to have an auction this past week.
Right.
So you're really going to have to try to get the Sunday preview out, or we'll have.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll have to send you on your way here very shortly.
Eagle Hall on Facebook is the best way to reach us. You can call or text Heather, 814-389-8930. I don't ever call my wife. I just put Heather in my phone. And you're either talking to Heather, or you're talking to me, or talking to Brian.
That number, they're going to talk to me.
Yeah. But yeah, Eagle Hall on Facebook is absolutely the best way to follow us. And we take phone bids. We take absentee bids. If you see something you like, just give Heather a call. Hey, I'll go up to $50 on that. And if it only goes for $10 in the house, you're probably going to get it for $12.50. Yeah, that's absolutely the best way. And don't forget the Great Mishmash in Bellefonte. That's our business partner store. It's a great store. I hear the management there is really nice. She's kind of cute. So, yeah, that's the best
way.
way.
And they can also find us on Auction Zip.
Auction
If
Zip,
they
yeah.
Just put in the 16823 area or zip code.
AuctionZip.com.
Wednesday auctions. We're always on Wednesdays.
And we have pictures up on there, and we will, if there's something they want to see better, we can take extra pictures of it. But online on Facebook, Facebook always gets the pictures first, and because I can upload it on my phone right there. So if you see something, we're at the hall, text us, hey, take some pictures of this, and we've actually done that. So a lot of great stuff. I mean, you never know what you're going to get. So.
Yeah. That's really probably the most interesting aspect of it is you really don't know what you're going to find. Everything's different.
I was gonna say I've noticed that you have no specific focus on your block. Nothing's coming through exactly because you want it to. Just you always have such a great variety of stuff.
It's really cool stuff.
And it's not like some auctions I've gone to or dealt through where it's like 1,000 box lots of junk to find one gem. It's pretty much gems.
Yeah, it's a fun time. It really is a fun time, and I encourage anybody that enjoys auctions to come see us and just try us out. I mean, it won't be your last time. I guarantee
You'll have a good time. Al always has everybody laughing all night long.
Yeah, we have fun with it.
He's definitely a comedian on the block as well as he is in life. So we really do. We have a lot of fun.
It's all business. I mean, we have fun, but it's all business. I mean, it truly is. You're not sitting up there being bored to death.
Well, good.
But
I
have
got
fun.
Baseball card auction.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Let's go have lunch. Yeah.